Hi, thanks for stopping back in. Today's edition of the vlogs will be discussing money saving and freebies at Disney World. So grab your ears and let's get started. So for this vlog, we're going to talk about some freebies. There are actually some free things to do at Disney World. So some freebies and some money saving tips that has worked for our family. I wanted to share with you guys. I've got my notes here in my little fancy Mickey Mouse book. So I'm going to cover a few things. So the first thing I wanted to talk about are some money saving ideas before you actually get to the park. I've talked about the little town that we stayed at outside of Orlando, and it was called Kissimmee. We have visited several of the Walmarts in that area and the Targets in that area, and many of them cover some pretty cool Disney souvenirs, and we usually like to stop there before we check in our Disney resort to get some stuff for our trip. One of the things we like to get at the Walmart are shirts. We like to go, we're the type of family that likes to have everybody match when we go to the parks. So we get some really inexpensive shirts compared to the shirts at Disney World. So I'm going to show you a couple of the shirts that we've got before in the past. So we first started going there, the shirts were about $5 or $6 back in 1999 a piece. So this last trip we were there, 2016, the shirts were about $8 or $9 a piece. And here's an example of the shirt that we get. So as you can see, it's got the year, so we always try to get one that has a year on it, and it says Disney. Now it will not say Disney World because these are not sold at Disney World, it's at the Walmart, but it's got the castle, and you know, it's got all the characters, and there's all colors and styles. Like I said, this one's from 2009, and we try to get one. This is like our big souvenir that we get. That way we got a memory of the year that we were there, and then we'll keep wearing them. I mean, we wear these all the time, and this has been since 2009, and it's held up pretty good. So the ink and stuff is really held up. We wear these, like I said, all the time. We wash them a lot and dry them, and they've held up. Here's one from 2007 that we got, and this was a dark navy color, and as you can see, it's still held up pretty well. And again, like this one has the fireworks, the year, and it says Disney. It's got the characters, so there's always lots to choose from at that Kissimmee Walmart that we stop at. Lots of color. We like to try to get bright colors typically, so we can spot each other out in the crowd. But this is fun when you do get those family shots of all of us in front of the castle or whatever, and we've all got our matching shirts on. Like I said, these typically run around $8 or $9. They have some that are even more expensive, like with embroidery on them or whatever. But these are just like regular old, printed t-shirts, and they've held up just fine. I'm actually wearing one now that I got at the park. Let me see if I can stand up a little bit. This one I got at the park, and that's going to run you about $30 or more to get one at the parks. So that was a rarity for me to get one at the park. But like I said, this saves us a ton of money, and it's that's part of our fun, stopping it there before we check in at our hotel and see what kind of shirts they have that we can get for the whole family. And they have all sizes: toddlers, babies, adults. So lots of choices to choose from. Another thing that we've gotten at that Walmart, for me, my family, when we buy souvenirs, I want something that we're actually going to use and not just junk up the house. So like I said, we use the t-shirts. That's pretty much my wardrobe is Mickey t-shirts. So another thing that we purchased our last trip there was this photo album, and this was at the Walmart, and this was about $8 too. They've got stuff like keychains for $1. I mean, and like I said, the keychain I got matched this one. It was $1. and it just had the castle and the year, and it said in the, the characters. And like I said, it won't say Disney World because you're not actually purchasing it at the park, but because it's near, Disney and everything, they've got all this stuff on it. So this was purchased at the Walmart for $8. This one was purchased at Disney World, and they're similar. We got the castle, and this one actually will say Disney World because I purchased it at Disney World. And this one ran about $30. So, you can save you a lot of money. So I just wanted to show you the example of, the nice one we got at Walmart versus the one we got at the parks. And I love the one at the park. It's got all the characters. It does have a lot more. The one at Walmart on the back of this one has, fireworks and the castle. And the one actually from Disney World does have, the castle, and it has all of the characters. But this is my type of souvenir. If I'm going to spend $30 on something from the parks, it's going to be something I can use. Now, one thing different about this, the one from the park versus the one at Walmart. So for the one at the parks, as you can see, here's my Peanut getting some autographs. There's a space to write if you want to fill out information from your trip, the date or something about that moment. If you had a special moment, this whole photo album has space for you to write. And then the one from Walmart, which was, a lot cheaper, but, you don't have, it's just the slots for the pictures to go. So, but that's just an example of some of the things you can get. Like I said, they've got keychains for like $1, tote bags, backpacks, anything you can think of. We usually stop there and spend an hour or more just looking at souvenirs. Ponchos, so many things you can find there right outside of, before you get to the parks. Kissimmee. So just look up Kissimmee if you're thinking about stopping there before you check into Orlando's or your Disney hotel. And like I said, there's lots of cool things to find there, and the theming of it all is really pretty and durable. Like I said, those t-shirts, we've got some. I've got one from 2000 from that Walmart, and it is just now starting. I'm sorry, yeah, 2000, yeah. So a 17-year-old shirt that is just now starting to crackle a little bit, the ink and everything from it. Like I said, but we use ours all the time. So anyway, that's just a little tip about the shirts and some souvenirs you might could possibly save some money on. Okay, now to talk about something free. And when you're checking in at your Disney resort, if you're celebrating a special occasion, birthday, anniversary, even a family reunion, just let them know at the check-in. A lot of times when you book your reservation, they'll ask you if you're celebrating anything, but they'll give you these pins. So I've got a sack here from all the years that we've gone, but this one was a family reunion pin they gave us when it was our family with grandparents and my sister and brother-in-law. We were all together, so they gave us this one for family reunion. When we've been there before celebrating anniversaries, they've given us different things. My mom's birthday, and sometimes different cast members will write things. This one they gave us, we were there celebrating my husband's 40th birthday, and this one actually had a space to write his name, so that was pretty cool. But if you forget to ask for it at check-in, no big deal. They'll give it to you at the parks. Most of the parks have the customer service areas up at the front of the entrances of the parks, or guest relations. I'm sorry, that's what they call it, guest relations. And they have the pins there, and they have a lot of times. I've seen them at Park Open on Main Street, like the Magic Kingdom, with just carts full of these pins, and you can just stop by and tell them what you're celebrating, and they'll give you a pin, and it's pretty cool. So in one of my other vlogs, I talked about how a couple of times we have just stayed and not done the parks and just to enjoy the Disney property. So when we've done that, we've done like a 3-night hotel only stay, and then there's so many other things to do, like I've mentioned, hopping around from hotel to hotel, because when you are a Disney resort guest, you are allowed to go to any of the other Disney resorts and look around, take pictures, eat at that restaurant. Like I said, you just cannot swim in their pools. So that's something that's fun and, basically free if you're just sightseeing and want to get some cool pics. So we've done that before. That's a free or inexpensive thing to do. Something else that we've done before, while staying at one of the value resorts, we had a reservation and ate at Chef Mickey's over at the Contemporary Resort. And when we got done at Chef Mickey's for breakfast, the free thing we did that after that was got on the monorail and went for a ride. The monorail is free to ride, and just don't get off at the Magic Kingdom stop. It makes from the Contemporary Resort, it makes a complete loop back around. So that was something the kids enjoy. I mean, I enjoy. I love getting on the monorail, and even though I wasn't stopping at the Magic Kingdom, it was fun to go by and see it and see the other resorts. So that's something fun to do that's free. So hopping on the monorail for a quick trip around, and you can stay on as long as you like. But anyway, that's another free thing to do at Disney World. Okay, on the topic of souvenirs or inexpensive souvenirs, and these aren't free, but one thing I like to get, let me grab them here. If we do buy a souvenir, like I said, I like to make it have dual purpose and something that we will use later. We like to get the popcorn buckets. These are all around the different parks, and we bring these home. They're fairly inexpensive. I don't really want to quote a price right now because I'm sure it's gone up since the last time we bought one. But most of the snack carts around the parks have these popcorn buckets. Now what we like to do with them back home is we keep these for movie nights here. So when we have our Disney movie nights and we've rented something or bought the newest Disney DVD, we pop popcorn for the kids, and then we all eat them out of our popcorn bucket. So this is something that we use all the time. So it was an inexpensive souvenir, under $10. I will say that. They were under $10. And, now I would not suggest getting it as soon as you get there because you're going to have to tote it around all day. This is something like as you're leaving the parks, pick you up one of these on the way out and you're on your way back to your room. You don't have to carry it around all day. But they are a lot of fun. Like I said, we put our snacks and popcorn with the kids in it, especially if we're planning a Disney trip and we're getting all hyped up and watching our Disney videos. These are so much fun to get out with the kids, and we can all pick a different theme. I've got some from Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Hollywood Studios, and it's just fun eating out of these and getting ready for our next trip. Okay, this tip I'm about to share I actually picked up from reading some of the other planning trips from the websites I've mentioned before and the other vlogs, is the free ice water. All the years that we've gone, I did not realize you could just get some free ice water. Now, not the bottled water. All the carts and things that sell the bottled water, they're going to be $2 or $3 a piece for a bottle of water. But if any restaurant sells fountain drinks, that means where they give you a paper cup. If they sell a paper cup with the scoops of ice, where it's a Coke machine there, so a fountain drink. Now, some of the carts, they only sell bottled drinks, so you can't always get this at a cart. But any of the counter service restaurants where you walk up and order from the counter, as long as they have fountain drinks, they'll give you a cup of ice or a cup of ice water. This really helped us out with our packing for the parks, because with little ones, like I said before, we have a ton of stuff that we bring with us every day. And I'm going to cover that in another vlog on tips to pack to survive your day, with and without children, and the type of backpacks that we use to get through our day. But anyway, we would always freeze a bunch of bottled waters, and then you've got them because you're allowed to bring drinks into the park, and then you've got to tote around these heavy bottles of water, and then they're sweating because they're melting. So this last trip, we didn't do any of that. If we needed some water, we would just, one of us stop and go get cups of ice and some cups of water. And like for the kids, we had some things of apple juice for them that we brought from the room, and I would just go ask for a cup of ice and then put that in their sippy cups and then pour the juice on that, so they had their drinks cold and we were able to get refreshed, and it just really worked out so much better than toting a water bottle around and trying to refill it, or like I said, then you've got it sweating on everything, it's making a mess. So free cups of ice water. And nobody ever gave me any issues about it. Like I said, as long as it's a place that serves fountain drinks, they'll give you a free cup of ice water, or just ice. We ate a lot of ice. Another thing I mentioned as far as the going back to the free things, I mentioned in another vlog about how from Boardwalk you can see Epcot's fireworks. So that's something to research ahead of time if you are having a stay or an off night where you're not at the parks and you're looking for something free to do. Check out which hotels are close to where you could see the fireworks at night. I know we have seen Magic Kingdom's fireworks and the electrical water parade from the beaches of the Polynesian Resort. So we've been over there to eat before, like for Ohana, which is an amazing restaurant. So we had a reservation to eat at Ohana, and I purposely planned it to where it was an evening reservation so that when we got done, it would be about time for Magic Kingdom's fireworks. And then we went down to the beach and watched the fireworks. So if you know ahead of time of when the fireworks are, you know, even if you're not in the park, so we didn't have to pay anything extra to watch the fireworks that night. And it was something that was like, that trip, it was our first night in, and it was my sister and her husband's first time there. So I was trying to plan something special to do our first night, since we didn't have a full day at the, you know, we were waiting to go to the parks the next day. So they got in, they flew in, and then we all met up, went to eat at the Polynesian. We went to eat at the Polynesian at the Ohana restaurant, and then went and watched the fireworks at the beach. So that's fun. So research ahead of time. Go on the Disney World's website, look at the maps. You can check out maps at allearsnet.com. Like I said, the disneyworld.com site has interactive maps, are really cool. But lots of good information if you look up ahead of time. And then you also can go on the calendars and look up the fireworks times. And that's just something else that's free to do, is just, you know, find out which hotel is close to the parks that's going to be doing the fireworks and what time their shows are, and then watch the fireworks. Another thing, I'm going to go back to shirts. Besides like a Kissimmee or a place like that that's close to Orlando, also ahead of time, check your places like Walmart. This before our last trip, I went on Walmart's website and just looked at Disney t-shirts online, and we found this really cool Hakuna Matata shirt. And because it was classified Christmas, I guess because of this, I was shopping in, you know, past Christmas off-season time. I got this for $5. So the whole family had these Hakuna Matata shirts that we wore when we went to the Animal Kingdom. Like I said, we're weird like that. We like to all match, and I will theme our shirts based on the park that we're at. So yeah, so all the adults had the Hakuna Matata, and because the Nemo musical is at Animal Kingdom, the little ones, they had Nemo shirts for the Finding Nemo musical, because I like us to match like that. Now, I'm not going to get into the dining plan right now. I'm going to try to cover that in another vlog. But if you do not have the dining plan and you are just ordering off the menu, some money-saving tips I have are, if you are eating at a restaurant that's a counter service, you can order like one entree and split that between, you know, most of the counter service meals have a lot, you know, generous portions. And if you're not really hungry, you can order the kids' meals. They don't ask. They don't, you know, it does say 9 and under, I think, on the menu, but they don't object to, you know, usually the mom or the dad comes and orders for the whole family anyway. Usually when you order at a counter service restaurant, if you've never been before, the space is not great up there at the order station. So typically what we do, and we see most families do too, the rest of the family goes and saves a table. And we just send out one scout, one person, go up there and place the order. So when you're placing that order, they're not going to ask, you know, if you're ordering from the kids meal, or are you 9 and under, or who is this? Is this for a 9-year-old? You know, they don't mind. They don't care. That's just up there. I don't know why. But anyway, so we have been known when we don't have the dining plan to save money, order from the kids menu. And if you're, you know, like for my mom who doesn't eat a lot, that really fills her up, and us too, because a lot of times, you know, the park food smells good and you feel like you're hungry and you just want to grab something, but just a little something usually satisfies you. And we're usually in a hurry, so we just want to grab a bite and go. We don't want to sit down and eat a big meal anyway. So sometimes the kids meal really fills us up, and the kids meals are pretty good. They're about $6.99 or so, $7.99 for a kids meal, and you usually get your little entree. And sometimes it's something like a, you know, a little sandwich. It usually comes with a fruit cup, or like a bag of grapes, or a bag of carrots, and a drink, and like a little dessert. So it's a pretty good little meal for 5 or 6, but it just depends on the station you're at. All throughout the parks, there's different themed restaurants, even the counter services. You know, sometimes this is like a burger and fry place, or it's a like Mexican type food. So anyway, it depends on the area of the park that you're at, the theme of the food. But anyway, there's lots of good choices, and eating off the kids' meal is perfectly fine. And also sharing an entree out. Sometimes me and my husband have shared an entree, and that's totally fine too. If we are not on the dining plan and we are trying to really penny pinch and save, another thing I would suggest looking for, and like I said, all the menus are on All Ears Net that I've mentioned before. So if you're at Magic Kingdom and you want to look ahead of time at the menus for the places, get an idea. We always like to check for a place that has a topping bar. Several of the restaurants at Magic Kingdom have a topping bar. So if you get a burger, they don't put anything on it. It's just the meat and the bread. And you go behind you, and there's a big bar full of lettuce and tomatoes and onions and pickles. And you just help yourself. You pile, so what we do is, we'll get a burger, and we'll just pile it full of lettuce and tomatoes and pickles. Sometimes they have sauteed mushrooms and onions. And you can almost make like a little side salad of all the stuff. I'm not promoting stealing or anything, of course. But if you've bought a meal, you have the rights to go to the topping bar and get as much as you want. They don't say anything. And I've gotten a few extra tomatoes because I like to eat tomatoes. My son likes tomatoes, so I've given him a couple off my plate before. Take advantage of the topping bars and get a really full meal and fill yourself up just from the little extras on the topping bars. Another money saving idea I wanted to share was a lot of times at night, all the vendors come out with all the little cool light-up toys. I have bought those in the past, and thankfully my kids are so out of sight, out of mind, they forget. So once we're home from our trip, I put that toy away. So I've probably bought 1 or 2 at the parks all these years, and I put them away once we get home. And then when we go back to Disney, I get them back out. So they've not seen it all year or 2 years, however long it's been between our trips. We can put fresh batteries in them and they're good to go. So when at night, when the fireworks are about to start and those vendors come out selling all that stuff, you can whip out your toy you bought 2 years ago, and the kids excited, and they're it's like a new toy because they've forgotten about it. So that's something I've done before. I've always put our name on it so they don't think we took it or because they didn't see us purchase one recently or whatever. So we're big on reusing and bringing back the stuff that we've bought in the past. I've had these ears for a while now. Yeah, so that will save you some money. Also, hit up Dollar Tree for just glow bracelets and things like that. My kids were totally fine just getting a glow bracelet, and that was fun for them at night to whip out something like that. Or sometimes even at Dollar Tree, I've gotten some cool little Disney flashlights or something, just anything like that. They love it. They don't care that you bring that kind of stuff in from outside. They'll check your backpack at security. They're just looking for weapons and stuff. They don't care about glow sticks and light up things, and you're free to bring all that stuff back in from previous years. Also, money saving tips. Whether we have the dining plan or not, the kids want a snack, so we pack a lot of snacks. We try to bring things that won't melt. One year my son was really into rice cakes. It was great. We just throw a whole pack of rice cakes in the diaper bag. They didn't melt. But we pack a lot of snacks for our trip. Cereal bars, granola bars, things like that that are not too messy. Again, you're allowed to bring all that stuff into the parks. They don't care. Especially when you have kids. They don't mind you bringing all that stuff in. So that will save you a lot of money packing your own snacks instead of purchasing, the snacks around the park. Another souvenir tip I had, the past couple of years, we've purchased the calendar from the Disney World website. Disney, all theme parks have the photographers, and if you've never been to Disney World, when you go, you get your magic band. Your magic band is your room key, your park tickets. If you have the dining plan, it keeps up with everything on your magic band. You just swipe it and you're good to go. It also keeps up with your pictures. So all throughout the parks, when the photographer takes your family picture, you swipe your band and it links it to your account. if you have the My Disney Experience app on your phone, usually within a few minutes, you can already start viewing your pictures on the My Disney Experience app. It puts the photos on there, and you can view them to see if you want to purchase. The last time we did it, the pictures are good for 45 days after the picture was taken. So you've got time even after you go home to look over to see if you want to order any pictures. Now I love to print out pictures and hang up some 8x10s and stuff, especially of our group shots in front of the castle and everything. Now, one thing I have found the past couple of years that saves us a lot of money is to buy the photo calendar. It's on the website of things that you can buy, like instead of a print or whatever. So when you view your pictures, go on there and like the products, I think it was called products, but they have calendars. The calendars are like 25 bucks. I think after tax, is all under $30. There's lots of slots for your pictures. I filled ours full because you design it yourself. You can do like, you pick your themes. You pick if you want one picture on the page, 2 or 3 pictures on the page. So the prints were about 15 bucks a piece. So just if I had printed 2 8x10s or 2 5x7s, that would have been 30 bucks right there just for 2 pictures. So I was able to get a calendar that was full of pictures from our trip. And even when the calendar's over, we're going to cut the pictures out. I'm going to put them in an album or something, but do something cute with the calendar. But for 30 bucks, I was able to get a majority of our PhotoPass pictures. That's what it's called, PhotoPass. I couldn't think of it a while ago. But it's the PhotoPass feature. It's awesome. And it's so much fun to see your pictures. Like while you're waiting in line for your next ride, you can be looking at the pictures they just took of you a few minutes ago. So no more, if you've not been in years, you used to have to go to the center up front to view your pictures at the end of the day to see if you wanted to purchase your, it's not like that anymore. Everything's linked up with your account. Everything's linked up with your Magic Band. Everything's linked up with your My Disney Experience app. And it's so cool to preview your pictures on the phone. And then, like I said, we just wait till we get home and place our order, and then get the calendar. That saved us a lot of money, and we were able to order a lot of pictures that way. Something else fun that we did, as far as a souvenir, it was about $25, I think, when we had it done the last time. They have the first haircut package. So on Main Street, when you walk in, there is a barbershop. They do take reservations, but we didn't place a reservation because we didn't know at what point with the babies that we would be there. So we just walked up, and we only waited 15 or 20 minutes. But for about $25, they'll give your, even if it's not the first hair, we've done that with our older one just to say we got his haircut on Main Street. But if you purchase the first haircut patch, because that's what I wanted, for $25, they'll give you the first haircut. You get a little certificate they fill out, and it's got Mickey and Minnie on it, and it's got first haircut and your child's name. They gave us a little bag. It was so cute, full of like sparkles. They said it was pixie dust. And they put all the little curls and things in that little bag. It was so cute. The certificate. Oh, and mouse ears. They gave him mouse ears, and on the back it says first haircut. So that was, to me, well worth $25. I cried to have that memory, and to be able to experience that at Disney, to get his first haircut. It was special because we waited. He was about 1.5 years, and we hadn't cut his hair yet. So to get that done at Disney, that was a lot of fun. We've got video and all the pictures, and like I said, the keepsakes. And so I felt it was worth 25 bucks to get that done. And he did so good sitting there in a chair. But anyway, the first haircut package at Main Street Barbershop. Check it out also on allearsnet.com. Okay, that's about it for now. But just research and think ahead of time and plan. And there's so many ways to save money. Another example is like the little squirty water bottles they sell with a fan. We bought all of ours ahead of time at Walmart. I know if you're flying, it's hard to purchase a lot of stuff ahead of time. So that's a perk for us with driving. We're able to haul a lot of stuff, and we haul a lot of stuff. But, there are so many ways to save money when you go to Disney. Yes, it can be very expensive. And it is very expensive. But with planning and just thinking ahead of time and think outside the box of what you can do to save some money, and little things like purchasing your t-shirts ahead of time, or stopping outside of Orlando to get your t-shirt, just little things like that that add up over time, you know, saving you a lot of money. So anyway, those are my tips for now, and thank you for stopping in. TTFN. Bye-bye.